What did you make of David Benavidez' performance against Zurdo and him calling you out after that fight?
Yeah, I think every single boxer for any division, they calling me out. So it's something, it's nothing new for me. But he did good in the fight.
Over and over and over again, Benavidez calling out Canelo. Why didn't Canelo want to fight Benavidez? You have to ask that to Canelo. I have my answer.
Well, what is it? You were trying to negotiate. You were trying to make that fight, right?
We couldn't get him to the table at all. Excuse after excuse. I mean, come on. Benavidez was chasing you for so long. Zurdo was chasing you for so long. But at the same time, Benavidez and Zurdo were the top guys for Canelo to fight. He didn't want to. That's the bottom line.
Canelo Alvarez has dismissed the continued demands for a fight against David Benavidez, stating that he is not surprised by people constantly calling for challenges. He also expressed doubts about whether Benavidez can successfully compete at 175 pounds, suggesting that any plans regarding a move to light heavyweight are Benavidez's responsibility to figure out and not something he is concerned about.
Fight even with him boxing as high as cruiserweight?
No, I'm not surprised.
Is it realistic for 175?
Huh?
Is it realistic to fight him at light heavyweight?
Who?
Benavidez.
I don't think he can make even 175 anymore. I don't know. But
at the same time, Canelo appears completely unaffected by the speculation and criticism surrounding him, choosing instead to remain fully focused on the job ahead as he continues preparations for his upcoming bout against Christian Bilai.
This is a 50-50 fight. What percentage chance do you give him to beat?
However, not everyone in boxing is convinced that Canelo remains at his very best. Jose Benavidez Sr. has argued that Canelo Alvarez is no longer operating at his peak level, claiming that his hand speed, reflexes, and punching power have all declined noticeably. In his opinion, Canelo now relies more on his reputation and superstar status than on the dominance that once made him one of boxing's most feared fighters.
He's not even ranking the rankings right now, so I think we're all going to go through that stage, and I think his era is done, Reflexes, speed, power, legs are not there. So we see a Canelo declining little by little, and now he's trying to get some clout.
Jose Benavidez Sr. also believes Canelo Alvarez could be at risk of suffering another loss when he takes on Christian Bilai. He points to Bilai's younger age, toughness, and fresher condition as important advantages. According to him, Canelo has recently faced opponents viewed as safer options instead of the most dangerous contenders available, making this fight a major opportunity from Bilai to score a statement victory and potentially deliver a huge upset.
Right? To be honest, it could be another loss for him. Like I said, Billy's a little bit fresher, but, I don't think he's an elite fighter. At the end of the day, they're trying to put fighters that he can beat. Not guaranteed, but fighters that are not, nobody wants to see that fight. It's not an exciting fight. He doesn't bring any more excitement to the fight. He hasn't brought any excitement to the fights. So, Cinco de Mayo is open for a great opportunity for the Mexican monster. We are going to look spectacular. We can't just win a fight. We got to look spectacular in order to show the people that we belong.
Sergio Mora feels that Christian Bilai could pose a very difficult challenge for Canelo Alvarez, emphasizing Bilai's non-stop pressure and heavy punching ability as factors that may create serious problems. Mora explains that Canelo usually controls fights through experience, ring IQ, and presence, but warns that Bilai's aggressive approach could force him into a physically exhausting and demanding battle.
For Canelo, and at this stage of Canelo's career, he doesn't like physical fights. He likes to impose his aura. He likes to impose his reputation. Guys to be intimidated. It ain't gonna be Christian and Billy. Billy has power, aggression, and he's ready for this moment.
Meanwhile, David Benavidez continues attracting challenges after his recent success, with Jai Opetaia becoming one of the most vocal names calling for a showdown. Opetaia has repeatedly pushed for the fight, arguing that the best competitors in the division should face each other in order to establish a clear and unquestioned #1 fighter.
Makes sense. If he's fighting for a world title in my division, why don't people want to see who the best is in the division? It does not make sense to me if we don't fight. You know what I mean? He's coming up fighting for a undisputed, a unification fight, and he's going to be holding the WBO and WBA. It just doesn't make sense to me that we wouldn't fight.
Benavidez has also shown interest in making the fight happen, which has only increased excitement around the possibility of a major matchup. Still, he has emphasized that the proper terms must be worked out first, making it clear that successful negotiations would be necessary before any agreement can be finalized.
Future, and I mean, I respect Jai Opetaia a lot. He's a great fighter, and I think he has to come back over here to make these fights happen because, you know, we can't make no fights.
At the same time, analyst Max Kellerman believes David Benavidez still lacks the signature victories needed to fully cement his legacy. Kellerman notes that Benavidez has not yet defeated elite opponents such as Canelo Alvarez, Dimitri Bivol, or Artur Beterbiev. He also praised Jai Opetaia's resume, pointing out that the champion has consistently challenged himself against top-tier opposition and continues facing some of the strongest fighters available.
Vision, not his fault. Canelo never gave him a shot. So far, neither Bivol gave him a shot, nor Beterbiev, when he was a champ, gave him a shot. Opetaia is a champion who is sitting there going, I want to fight you, right? Look, the fact that no one's fought Benavidez, you understand. And I know he just beat Zurdo Ramirez and there were belts on the line. The actual...
From another viewpoint, Jai Opetaia acknowledges David Benavidez's accomplishments and overall talent, but remains unconvinced by the level of opposition he has faced throughout his career. He believes a fight between them would represent a major increase in competition for Benavidez and provide a true test of his skills against proven elite opposition.
You can't really sort of judge on who he's had in the past, and they haven't been too much. Jai's a completely different beast. So what he can do to them is completely different from what he can do to Jai. So we'll see what happens.
Robert Garcia also shared his thoughts, explaining that David Benavidez still has several important hurdles to overcome before considering another jump in weight. Garcia stressed that defeating established elite fighters is necessary if Benavidez hopes to continue growing as a competitor and strengthen his position among boxing's best athletes.
Maybe at that same weight, or maybe go down to fight Bivol and Beterbiev, and the other one is what that other cruiserweight that signed with Supan. Jai. Opetaia. Yeah. I don't know if that fight could even be done now that he's with Supan, what belts they're gonna fight for, whatever. I don't know. But those are three fights that I would like to see Benavidez take. But then after that, he's ready for the head.
On the other side of the discussion, Stephen Edwards views Jai Opetaia as a physically powerful and remarkably composed world-class competitor. He highlights Opetaia's ability to stay calm in difficult moments, along with his natural athletic gifts, as qualities that make him a dangerous and complicated stylistic challenge for anyone competing in the cruiserweight division.
A left hand, he can knock you out. And he's a southpaw, so he'll have some built-in advantages. He's just a totally, it's not a skills thing, he's a different level athlete than what El Zurdo is. And he's young, and he's mean, and he's going to be fighting hard. I think David might know a little bit too much for him. I think he might be a little bit too skillful for him and be a little bit too slick. But his raw athleticism and punching power.
Tim Bradley, however, sees the matchup unfolding in a different way and favors David Benavidez to emerge victorious. Bradley believes Benavidez's non-stop pressure, high punch volume, and aggressive mentality could transform the contest into a grueling battle, gradually breaking Jai Opetaia down and allowing Benavidez to gain control as the fight moves into the later rounds.
I'm a double down. He gonna beat Opetaia. I double down on that one. He gonna beat Opetaia. See, Opetaia got good feet. Yeah, he can box, but he can be drugged into a fight. And if you know anything about David Benavidez, just like he did with Ramirez, he's the one of those guys that's gonna test your heart. He gonna test what you have in here. And once he go to Jai's and he tests what he has in here, Jai gonna lose. Jai ain't gonna be boxing and moving around. Jai gonna be looking to fight. Jai gonna get tired too. Yeah, because Jai, if you look at the history of Jai Opetaia, he get tired. Yes.
Sergio Mora takes a more neutral stance regarding the potential fight, acknowledging Jai Opetaia's punching power, southpaw style, and movement as significant advantages. At the same time, he feels a clash between the two would be extremely competitive and filled with action, with both fighters possessing aggressive styles capable of producing a brutal and entertaining contest from the opening bell to the final round.
Opetaia is stronger. Pound for pound in punching, Opetaia punches a lot harder with one single shot than Benavidez. He's a harder, heavy-handed puncher. He's a southpaw. He has better feet than Benavidez. He's just as mean as Benavidez. That would be violent, man. That fight would be violent.
Jose Benavidez Sr. recognizes Jai Opetaia's skill set and future potential, but believes he is still adding experience against the highest level of competition. Even with that respect, he remains confident that David Benavidez would gladly accept the challenge and test himself against another elite-level opponent if the opportunity presented itself.
A big shout out to Opetaya. I think he's a great fighter. He's doing well, but I think he still needs the experience, you know. His last fight, I think he held back. He looked a little bit tired. He was struggling in there. He did win the fight to me, and I mean, he did win pretty much all the rounds. But, you know, I just think that he needs a little bit more experience. You know, we'll fight.
Analyzing the possible matchup, Teofimo Lopez described it as one of the biggest fights available in the cruiserweight division today. However, he believes David Benavidez should continue building his resume and further establish himself at the weight class before taking on a challenge of that size and importance.
Okay, Jai tweeted, "Enjoy your victory, champ. See you soon." Ooh, okay. Now, there's been plenty of talk over the past year of Benavidez fighting Beterbiev or Bivol, guys, right, at light heavy. But now that he's at cruiserweight, what does Benavidez and Opetaya look like? What does that look like, Teo?
I see it as like an undisputed title, and if, with the whole conjunction of Zuffa belt and everything like that, why not? I mean, we had that kind of similarity when it came to Canelo and Crawford, right? And I felt like this is another great time. I think we should wait on this. Let David Benavidez aim for Noel for the WBC, who just beat Badou Jack.
Kid Austin shared a similar viewpoint, calling it a premier matchup that ideally should happen before either fighter decides to move up to heavyweight. He emphasized that both men possess world-class skills, making the outcome likely dependent on who can execute their strategy more effectively and perform better when fight night finally arrives.
Would go to heavyweight. I think that would be the fight that needs to be made. I think Jai has a good chance too of possibly winning. You know, like I said, yeah, I think it just comes down to who shows up then.
Adding even more fuel to the discussion, Malik Scott praised David Benavidez's relentless pressure, fast combinations, and constant offensive approach, describing him as one of the most difficult fighters in boxing to deal with today. Scott believes Benavidez's ability to maintain an intense pace from start to finish creates major problems for any opponent over the course of a full fight.
Not only is he one of the best fighters in the world, to me, Benavidez is the most dangerous fighter in the world, and I'm including all divisions. We could talk about Shakurs, we could talk about Haney's, we could talk about all these Usyks and guys that's better than him technically. But I'm talking about as far as danger zone. When you're in the fight of your life from round 1 through round 12, David Benavidez, I've never seen nothing like him before. I've never seen hand speed like that on a consistent basis. I've never seen extension.
Looking at the bigger picture, Andre Ward considers this a potentially defining fight for the cruiserweight division. He sees Jai Opetaya as an already established force near the top of the weight class, while David Benavidez brings growing popularity and momentum that could raise the division's profile and attract even more attention from boxing fans around the world.
Jai fight at cruiserweight is the fight for me. That's the fight that I want to see. Jai has been the man at that weight class for a very long time. Now you got a new player in the division with a hot name and whose stock and whose star power is only rising. That's the fight I believe that needs to be made at the...
Sean Zittel is confident in David Benavidez's potential, describing him as a fighter entering the prime years of his career with the ability to challenge elite champions across multiple divisions, including Jai Opetaya. He believes Benavidez's physical strength, relentless pressure, and continued growth make him a legitimate threat against the very best fighters in the sport.
He is scary for any fighter to go up against. You know, he's got to prove it. He's got to prove it against the best fighters in the world now. And they're going to be tougher outs than Gilberto Ramirez, but I'm feeling like he can beat all of them. He could beat Bivol, he could beat Beterbiev.
Zab Judah shares a similar opinion, pointing to David Benavidez's unusual rhythm, non-stop pressure, and ability to make adjustments during fights as qualities that can overwhelm opponents once he gets comfortable. Judah believes those traits make Benavidez especially dangerous when he settles into his flow and begins dictating the pace inside the ring.
I mean, listen, man, I predict the same thing. Because it's a new style. David Benavidez has his own style in boxing. He has his own, he's the first fighter we know with his style. And coming up with his style, he mastered it. So there is no real defense for the style yet. There is no real, you know, how does the blockage go? How does it go? Like, I never see they don't teach no shit like that, you know what I mean? So until somebody can come up with, until they can learn their style completely, you're not gonna know how to defend against it. We gotta see it some more, you know what I mean? So shout out to David Benavidez coming up with his own style. That's crazy. And the switch. crazy. My guy, he's the first guy with it. What up? I'm saying it.
You know, when
Don't
you look,
make David cut that switch.
Connor Wallace, however, believes the move up in weight would play a major role in determining how the matchup unfolds. He suggests that although David Benavidez's speed and activity could help him stay competitive throughout the fight, Jai Opetaia's natural size, strength, and punching power may ultimately become the deciding factors when it comes to the final result.
You know what I mean? Obviously, I feel like he would give Jai a harder fight than Ramirez would, but man, it's a huge jump. You know, it used to be a super middleweight, the light heavyweight, up to cruiserweight. It's not like you're jumping from like super welterweight to middleweight. You know what I mean? It's a huge, 15 kilos, 16 kilos. It's massive. You know, and he's not the leanest or strongest. Yes, he's very fast. Benavidez is very fast, but I feel like when
Coach Breadman also favors Jai Opetaia from a stylistic standpoint, emphasizing his hand speed, explosiveness, and southpaw stance as serious obstacles for David Benavidez if he cannot effectively manage the distance. According to Breadman, Opetaia's movement, angles, and quick attacks could create significant problems and make the fight extremely challenging if Benavidez fails to establish his pressure early.
So the fact that David started out at 168 and Opetaia started out at 200, Opetaia, you know, I didn't think Zurdo could do anything with David because he's just too slow getting off, man. You know what I mean? Like, everything is not about speed, man, but when the speed difference is that big, you gotta have some kind of like masterful timing or jab or something to offset that. He's just too slow. Opetaia not slow like that. He's twitchy, he's fast, and he's explosive. And David gonna have to be careful. That ball hit you with a left hand, he can knock you out. And he's a southpaw, so he'll have...
Andre Dirrell takes the analysis a step further, explaining that Jai Opetaia's footwork, ring movement, and ability to control angles could interrupt David Benavidez's rhythm, particularly if Benavidez begins overcommitting to his punches. He believes Opetaia's skill at managing space and controlling exchanges may prevent Benavidez from finding the consistent flow and offensive momentum he usually relies upon.
You know what I'm saying? So he has the ability with his legs, right? If you can continually make David have to reach for you because he can't simply walk to you and get the shots off, then he's going to have a problem. Why? Because he's going to take chances, right? Now, Jai doesn't have the jab that I want him to have, and that's really going to set up the big shots because it blinds a lot of, you got to blind him with that jab. Keep that jab in his face, making it hard for him to see the shots coming after. And if you can keep that distance and cause him to have to take chances to land those shots, then David is going to have the problem. So Jai has the feet, he has the ability. He put the right game plan together. He's going.
At the same time, Andre Dirrell also acknowledges David Benavidez's outstanding conditioning and his ability to overwhelm opponents through non-stop activity. He points to Benavidez's relentless pace and high-volume punching as major strengths capable of breaking fighters down over time. However, he also warns that disciplined opponents who maintain distance and use smart angles can disrupt Benavidez's rhythm and limit his ability to build sustained momentum.
By David Benavidez energy, man. His last fight against Anthony Yards, like, man, this dude is like a damn robot. Damn, this boy can go. He is full of energy, man. But he's technically flawed. David has no feet whatsoever. Period, point blank, man. And don't need him at this point. And once he gets in there with someone who's willing to use their feet, then he's going to see where he needs to.
Whether the next challenge comes against Jean Pascal at cruiserweight or Dimitri Bivol at light heavyweight, the upcoming level of competition will ultimately reveal exactly where David Benavidez belongs among boxing's elite. Every potential matchup carries major significance and could serve as the defining test that determines his true standing against the very best fighters in the sport today.